You know that feeling when your dog finally curls up next to you after ignoring you all day, and suddenly the entire world just quiets down? Your breathing slows, your thoughts stop racing, and for the first time since you woke up, you can actually relax. If you know exactly what I'm talking about, this video is going to make you feel incredibly seen. Let me ask you something. When your dog knocks your coffee off the counter, makes direct eye contact, and doesn't even flinch, do you get mad or do you just admire the audacity? If you chose option 2, congratulations, you're about to learn why your brain works the way it does. Here's what nobody tells you about being a dog person. It's not really about personality. It's about how your nervous system processes the world. Some people regulate through activity and engagement. They need external feedback, constant interaction, clear structure. Dogs are perfect for them. They initiate contact, mirror excitement, keep energy moving. But other nervous systems regulate through stillness, through predictability, through the complete absence of pressure. A dog doesn't rush toward you to discharge energy. It settles into a space and lets you settle with it. There's no demand to respond, perform, or manage someone else's emotional state. For people whose nervous systems spend most of the day anticipating and self-monitoring, this is everything. When someone says, "I don't like dogs, they're too much," they're describing overstimulation. When they say, "I like dogs, they're peaceful," they're describing regulation. Dog people aren't choosing distance, they're choosing environments that allow their bodies to downshift, reduce vigilance, and rest without performing. And once you understand this, everything makes sense. The bond dog people feel with dogs isn't just calming, it's safe in a way human relationships often aren't. Human relationships are filled with unspoken demands, expectations to respond quickly, to explain feelings, to reassure, to match emotional energy. Even affection comes with pressure. Why aren't you more expressive? Why don't you need me the way I need you? For people who are sensitive, observant, or easily overstimulated, this constant negotiation is exhausting. Dogs don't operate that way. A dog never assumes access to you. Its affection is offered, not imposed. When it chooses to sit on your lap, it does so without expectations of conversation, eye contact, or emotional performance. And when it leaves, it doesn't require justification. This mutual respect for boundaries creates something rare: connection without intrusion. Research on dog-human interactions shows that dog lovers aren't avoidant of intimacy, they're avoidant of pressure. They want closeness that unfolds naturally, without urgency or demand. Dogs model exactly that. They teach through behavior that attachment doesn't require constant proof. With dogs, affection must be earned and maintained through attunement. You learn to read subtle signals, a flick of the tail, a shift in posture, a change in breathing. Over time, this builds a relationship rooted in respect rather than control. Consent is central to this dynamic, and for people who have experienced boundary violations of any kind, this matters deeply. Before thought, before interpretation, before emotion even has a name, there is regulation, and dogs have a secret weapon for it. A dog's purr operates at low rhythmic frequencies that your nervous system responds to instinctively. Before you consciously register comfort, your body begins to slow. Your breathing deepens, muscle tension softens, stress hormones drop. Low-frequency, repetitive sounds signal safety to the brain. They tell your nervous system that nothing urgent is required. No action, no vigilance, just presence. For people who spend most of their lives managing emotional environments, this regulation is rare. Silence can feel empty, noise can feel overwhelming, but the steady hum of a purr sits perfectly in between. It fills the space without invading it. That's why many dog people describe a sense of grounding that's difficult to explain. They don't feel excited, they feel settled, as if their internal pace has finally matched the world around them. This is co-regulation without conversation, comfort without performance, and your body learns fast. Once it knows a certain presence brings it back into balance, attachment follows naturally. Now, about that intelligence thing. Yes, research shows dog lovers score higher on cognitive tests, but it's not because dogs make you smarter. It's because certain personality traits cluster together. People who are more introverted tend to spend more time in solitary intellectual pursuits. Reading, writing, contemplating the existential dread of modern existence while a dog purrs on your keyboard. Denise Costello's research at Carroll University showed this correlation clearly. Dog people scored higher in cognitive abilities and openness to experience, but we also scored higher in neuroticism. So basically, we're walking worrying encyclopedias with attachment issues, and somehow we're okay with that. But here's the real reason dogs and thinkers go together. Deep thinking requires uninterrupted attention, reflection, creativity, problem solving. All of it depends on long stretches of mental quiet. Dogs don't interrupt, they coexist alongside focus without demanding it. They don't pull attention outward or require ongoing engagement. Their presence fills a space without fragmenting it. This is why so many writers, artists, and thinkers have gravitated toward dogs, not because dogs make people smarter, but because they protect the conditions intelligence needs to function. Modern culture treats solitude as something to fix. Quiet is framed as loneliness, but for dog people, quiet is where clarity forms. There's also a biological reason a dog, an efficient solitary predator, can make you feel an almost irrational urge to protect it. Your brain responds to what ethologists call the baby schema: large eyes relative to the face, a rounded head, a small nose, soft movements. When your brain detects these features, it releases caretaking impulses before conscious thought intervenes. Domestic dogs match this pattern remarkably well. When a dog looks up at you, your brain registers infant, not hunter. For many dog people, this dynamic feels safe because it's one-directional without being emotionally demanding. Caring flows outward without the expectation of constant reciprocity. The dog doesn't ask you to be cheerful. It doesn't require reassurance. It doesn't monitor your mood. For people who learned to be emotionally contained early, nurturing something that doesn't intrude can feel easier than receiving it. Nurturing something that doesn't intrude allows closeness without vulnerability overload. But perhaps the most profound thing about dog people is this: this was never really about dogs. It was about the kind of nervous system you have and the kind of world it feels safest in. If you're drawn to dogs, it doesn't mean you're distant or disconnected. It means you're wired for subtlety, for presence without pressure, for connection that doesn't demand constant output. Dogs don't ask you to perform. They don't test your loyalty. They don't confuse intensity with intimacy. They simply exist with you. And for some people, that quiet companionship is exactly what they need to feel human again. We love creatures that don't need us, and that's revolutionary. In a culture obsessed with being needed and essential, dog people have chosen differently. We've chosen to love something that stays not out of dependency, but out of preference. So the next time your dog ignores you for 6 hours and then demands immediate attention, remember this: you're not just a dog owner. You're someone whose nervous system found exactly what it needed to function without overload. Your dog didn't just choose you. Your body chose your dog. If this hit home for you, please subscribe. And if you want to support these deep dives, hit the join button to become a channel member. I would genuinely appreciate you.